Tom, I won't be long.
Mum, would you let me go to a camp school?
A camp school?
Yes, just for a term. Teacher's been telling us all about it. Jack and Joan say it's smashing, and I've a form to take back, and it doesn't cost much.
Now, it's no good you worrying me, Tom. You're not sleeping in any tents with your weak chest, and that's that.
But Mrs. Jones, it's lovely, and you don't sleep in tents.
No, it's just like going to school in the country.
But it's not like going to school, really. It's different.
Yes, it's something different that began way back in 1939, when the government passed an act authorizing the construction of a series of permanent camps. So was born the National Camps Corporation. Non-profit making financially, but soon to be proved very profitable in other ways. And in this way, to beautiful rural areas up and down the country came the camp schools. Used during the war as evacuation centers, with the coming of peace, they became the basis of a new experiment in living and learning. And to education committees in many parts of the country came a new item on the agenda.
The camp school. Continuing our policy of giving children during their last year at school an opportunity of spending one term at camp school to prepare them for their first school life, we have, during the past year, arranged this facility for 736 children, of whom 234 children of poorer families were sent completely free under the scheme already known to you. I find nothing but praise in the various reports from the headmasters and headmistresses of the schools concerned. And I know you will wish to join me, ladies and gentlemen, in expressing our sincere thanks to the National Camps Corporation, who've made our experiment possible and so easy for us, and to the camp school headmaster.
Morning school. And what sort of lessons are they going to? Well, the accent in camp schools is on sunshine and air. So normal schooling is continued, but wherever possible, in open-air classes. Yes, there are classrooms, fully equipped, bright and comfortable, but they're mainly used for wet days or winter time. The children will be leaving school soon, so the lessons are made practical and real to fit them for their future life. Here's geography, the camp school way. They don't just use maps, they learn how to make them. This class is making a complete survey of the countryside around them. History comes out of the textbook and lives when it's combined with walks to the spot where it actually happened. Here you draw the actual flower in its natural setting, not the flower in the vase. Many of the children have never experienced life in the country before, and natural history takes on a new aspect. So, back at camp, there's a nature room. These children are quietly getting practice in self-education by their own observation, reference, and experiment in the countryside around them. And they love it. Over on the other side of the camp, there'll be a domestic science class. The girls launder many of their own clothes and take special care in ironing the boys' shirts. You'll find the boys busy making furniture to take home and applying the practical knowledge in actual constructions on the camp. Somewhere in the grounds there'll be a sewing class, learning to buttonhole, repairing a torn frock, or making costumes for a concert. Sewing lessons this way are real fun. Always fresh fields to conquer, new lessons to learn. Organized trips are part of the camp school life. They'll be exploring the way the local town works, the postal services, finding out why the light comes on at the turn of a switch, or finding out for themselves something of farms and farming problems. See the idea? They're finding out for themselves. Some of the camp schools have young farmers' clubs and find they can't keep the town children away. This camp school has 10 acres of land for a young farmers' club, worked on the principle of a miniature farm. Many of the youngsters discover a natural aptitude for farming or agricultural science as a career. And as well as providing a lot of farm produce for themselves, their enthusiasm wins prizes too. You will find enthusiasm on all sides, but particularly on the playing fields. Sports are a big item at camp schools, and since every camp has from 20 to 30 acres of ground, there's plenty of opportunity. Cricket, football, netball, hockey, rounders, you will find all that amuses and benefits the growing child. Nearly all the camps have their own swimming pools too. There's no difficulty getting the children in. The problem is always getting them out. With all this outdoor activity comes, yes, you've guessed it, formidable appetites. Somewhere around the spacious dining hall block, you're bound to meet the camp manager. He is responsible for the domestic economy of the camp, which leaves the headmaster and his staff free to concentrate on looking after the children.
Keeping pace with young appetites is quite a problem these days, but my staff have got all the latest labor-saving devices to help them. The washing up machine is very handy when you've just served 300 lunches, and there's even a bread and butter machine. A lot of careful planning goes into making the meals both attractive and healthful. The calorie level must be kept high because of the increased energy output of open-air life. Then, many of the children will be short of protein, the bodybuilding element. So there's plenty of things like milk and cheese in the diet. In towns, the supply of fruit and fresh vegetables is apt to be low. So here we make a point of fresh fruit, raw salads and vegetables from our own gardens. We grow most of our stuff on the camp, which solves a lot of my shopping problems. My staff maintain all the buildings, including the flower beds you find all over the place. Another of my headaches is the constant hot water system and the central heating, which makes the camps available all the year round. Some mothers would be surprised at the amount of hot water and soap these youngsters use up.
Yes, there are other lessons being learned. Personal hygiene is no problem here. And who doesn't enjoy a nice hot shower after an exciting game of football? Just in case, every camp has its own hospital.
Yes, it's beautiful. And most of the time, it's as you see it now, empty. Open-air life, good feeding, and regular hours keep the doctor away. But it's fully equipped with everything I need and ready for anything. There's individual rooms for the odd rash, and at the other end of the scale, there's the daily clinic for anything from a grazed knee to toothache. No matter how small the trouble, there's a sympathetic welcome for every youngster. Then, there's the records I keep. You'd be surprised if you could see as I do the astonishing improvement in the general health of these youngsters. Some of these camp schools specialize in bringing delicate children back to health. The gain in weight in a term is often as much as 10 pounds. But it's the rosy cheeks that please me.
And what of their spare time? Well, there's always plenty to read, or the letter telling Mum all about it. But easily number one on the recreation list is ballroom dancing. All the camps make a speciality of this. It breaks the ice, and everybody gets to know everybody else. Besides all the usual school clubs, there's movie shows once or twice a week. And all the fun of concerts from time to time, with scenery and costumes, all school-made. Yes, learning and getting healthy in a camp school is good fun.
As a camp school headmaster, I know that we, and that means you, have something to offer to the youngsters which may well prove to be the biggest step forward in the country's education program since going to school was first made compulsory. The teaching methods are modern, but many of the lessons are not on the curriculum at all. When they come to leave school and start work in the world, these children will have a tremendous advantage of having stood on their own 2 feet for a time while still in the shelter of school life. To accept responsibility, to face up to life, to live harmoniously with his fellows, are not things that a child can be taught like so many sums. He must learn these things for himself. He can begin to, and I believe he does, in these pleasant surroundings. The National Camps Corporation and the various education authorities are providing the opportunity. All that is needed now is the wholehearted cooperation in giving our children a chance in life that we of the older generation never had.